Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and boy, our viewers out there really are sharp. They have memories that don't forget, even if mine does. And one of them sent me a note the other day, said, are you ever going to do that one that you previewed for us? The Trimline Trim-Spin. And actually I hadn't been doing that because I was trying to find a little bit more information on the company. So it does say made in the United States, patent was pending. And what we noted when we did this preview was it's got an interesting design to it. So we're going to see what this is all about. But instead of screws, it has this band clip with 3 little pressure points that holds this in. So we're going to take this one apart. We'll show you how it's made. This one is still working. Now I did do an internet search, and I did find that they're out there and they're not that expensive. They're $20, $25. I paid $5 for this. I didn't know what I had one way or another. It's not, this one to me is not in a collectible stage. I have a plastic handle here that's got a split through it and it doesn't turn. So I guess you would want to get one of those. I've got a rusted or a dechromed bail wire, but it does work. It's what I call the bang bail. When you come over here, it's going to hit the arm of the fishing reel support, and that's going to throw it back. This could benefit from a little bit of oil. I did remove the line. Well, I did remove most of the line prior to setting this up for a video, just to see what was underneath there. And we've got a corroded spool. And quite honestly, I'm not trying to restore this. I just want to see what's inside it. I call these tuition reels. It's a fun one. It comes with a story, I guess. So the reason I was quiet on this one for a little bit is I wanted to find out more about Made in the USA. All I could find was a box. The Trim-Spin box is the Trimline Trim-Spin. It came with, there was, Trimline was called the Trimline Tackle Company. Trim-Spin was one of 4 brands that they had out there. So don't ask me to repeat them because I don't know. I don't remember them other than I believe 2 of them. One was called the Corsair and the other was called the Trimline, similar to the name up here. And I don't remember what the other trademarked one was, but such is life. That's why I said some people on the site remember things like this that I kind of put aside, saying I'll get to it when I can. So I'm going to show you this. I think this one is going to benefit from ease of use. We'll see. And when I do these things, I do like to take the anti-reverse override off so that if I pull the main gear, I don't disrupt anything with that. Before we get started, a couple of things. I do wear a plastic glove here, a latex glove, just to keep stuff off my hands. Who knows what's in this reel? I do use a parts tray. Yeah, hey, this one's a new one, huh? It came off of a snow melt bucket of ice or de-icer. Just happened we had our first snowstorm here and ran out of the ice melt, so I have a bottom to use as a parts tray. How do you like that? Again, we're not going to do anything here, but I would like to take the moment to stop and thank our first responders, our essential personnel, law enforcement, teachers, retailers, everybody that's trying to help us get through this stuff as we head into winter. And I guess tomorrow's the first day of winter, so here you go. I do appreciate everything that you're doing to keep us safe during the pandemic. And like I do here with, I guess you call this personal protection equipment, I would continue to recommend everybody use their masks, maintain the social distance. Even with the holidays, it's tough to see your family and everything. I understand that, but just be aware of what it is that's out there. And with these alarmingly high rates of infection, please take care of yourself. So let's go figure this out. No screws, right? Just with a big old clip with 3 pressure points. I think we just take a screwdriver. This is new to me. I call this a tuition reel. For my $5, if I mess it up, I mess it up. So here we go. Let's find out what's underneath. So here's your trim ring. Well, this might qualify for the Simplicity in Design Award. Look at that. The case comes right off. There is no gasket. Look at that. I'm always amazed. Always amazed. This is fixed, right? This is fixed. We have a spool shaft here that rides up and down. I'm not sure if that's connected. Let's go find out. Oh, we only have 2 metal washers in here. This is riding up and down, and I guess you can pull it out. There you go. Wow, that's a few pieces and parts. Okay, these guys might win my award for simplicity in design. We've got about the bare minimum of parts there. As a lot of folks have an axle shaft and a crosswind block, we've got that all in one. Actually looks like the old kind of skeleton key there. We've got a bowl, and the bowl has got the pinion gear, pinion gear, and that's pressed in. It looks like it's pressed. I'm not going to go try and tap that out or anything. I'm not even going to try and clean this up. I really just wanted to see what this wheel is made of. A little bit of really old grease there. So what do we got? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts so far, 5 parts. We want to count the washer. I guess we have 7 parts. That's a big old honking main gear in there with some shellacked grease. Let's go ahead and take this off, see how this comes out. Like I said, I never fear this. First of all, it's my reel, so I don't worry too much if something goes awry. I do switch that anti-reverse click off. This could benefit from a cleaning. We could use some things. Wow! Oh, it really looks like your garden variety screw, doesn't it? It looks like it's aluminum. But boy, I don't know if I've ever seen a handle screw that thick. Let's hope that the handle comes off. Why not even putting these in a parts tray? There's so few of those. Alright, there's our back side of that, and let's see if we can't just push or pull out. It comes right out. Right out! So I saw one of these on eBay. They were only going for less than $20 with the shipping. And I think that's probably a statement for the reel. But boy, for a story and for something to have and to show, it's probably worth the 20 bucks. Alright, this is just really old grease. I can see that that's all shellacked and varnished and has spent its time. We have a kind of an interesting little throw here for that anti-reverse dog. Just cleaning up the old stuff. Like I said, I'm not taking this one fishing. This is just kind of a fun thing to do on a kind of a snowy pre-winter day. But we can clean it up. I'm just amazed at how simple this reel really is, and you don't need to over-engineer anything some days, right? It's just a matter of good design sometimes. It says made in the U.S. It said that the headquarters or the box that I found said 141st Street in New York City, New York. That's in Manhattan. And the interesting thing about it, did not have a zip code on the paperwork. So zip codes, if my memory recalls it correctly, should remember it, I was around for it. The zip code was introduced in 1963. The paperwork did not have a zip code on it. So I'm going to say by that this reel is pre-1963. How pre? I don't know, post-war, but short of that, pre-1963. I just learned something the other day. We'll incorporate it into my video on Ocean City. Somebody had mentioned that, you know, I had a question the other day, was this reel made in Japan or not? And followed by when. And it was on a Daiwa reel, I think. And I just learned that if the reel says Japan on the back, it has to be 1953 or later, because the post-war Marshall Plan stuff said that you had to have occupied Japan prior to 1953. So there you go. If you find a reel that just says Japan in the back, dating it like this zip code thing, just dates pre or post that time. So if you have a zip code, it's 1963 or later. All right, a bunch of grease on the back. I'm just going to take the paper towel, and many of you can now see why I wear that glove, even though the hand that I'm working the paper towel with, it just got all that goop on me. I can't just have trouble working with that, but I do try to take as much precaution as I can. I use a penetrating oil. In this case, this just happens to be the Garden Variety Ace hardware store lubricant and penetrating oil. I don't go too much with the lubricant on this thing, but I do go with the penetrating oil and degreasing functions of that. I don't think that the lubrication holds up very well, so I don't recommend that. Go use a more standard grease, and especially in fishing reels, use a fishing reel oil. Don't use just the Garden Variety oil. And I get questions all the time. I do gun repair. Can I use gun oil? And I'm not going to tell you don't use it, but I'm going to tell you if you have fishing oil available, please use it. It's designed for marine applications and wet, and it's just not that expensive. It's not worth trying to substitute something for. All right, I was just checking all the teeth. They're clean. It's a nice main gear. We've cleaned the back of it for the most part. A little bit more housekeeping to do here, I guess, just a little bit. And again, this was more to see what was inside than make it go fishing, but what the heck, we might as well put some grease on it. And this is why I take that click function off. I don't want the clicker to get jammed when we go to put that piece on. This main gear on the front, because you have that axle shaft crosswind block riding on it, you want to get that on both the teeth, and you want to get it on the surface, because that little hook in that axle shaft is going to ride up and down on this, right? So do that. Go ahead and put the main gear back in to the case. Go ahead and put the handle on. Now, we can take the metal cleaners and clean this, and I may do that at a future time. Again, this was more to see what's inside. Big screw goes back in. Big screwdriver for big screw, right? Don't try and use a little screwdriver on a big slot. That'll just mess it up. You know what? It's turning awful smooth. I kind of having fun with this one. You can see I got a little chuckle going there. All right, this shaft is a little gummed up. I'm going to take steel wool just to clean off some of that dry grease on that. This is 4.0 steel wool. I caution you, do not go any more coarse than that, and 4.0 is very fine. Just noticing as I'm going to put some grease on there that there is some dried older grease in that channel there, so let's get that out. So Trimline Trim-Spin, New York City, before 1963. If you find anything else out there, and I know this community is very good about finding all kinds of things out, but if you find anything more on the manufacturer of this, please let me know. All right, same thing here. We got a little bit of grease. I'm going to use this. Somebody just told me that they watched my video and went out and bought a 4-pack of hard bristle toothbrushes, and that they're doing this. That's fantastic. I'm glad that you're getting into the cleaning side of this in addition to just putting some basic lubrication on there. All right, we're going to put it where the teeth are going to mesh, and then we're going to put it on the shaft. I thought this was really neat, this part. First, let's put the axle shaft back in, put a little grease on that. There's no fancy clips or anything that holds this piece on. Just lays in that channel, right there. Lays in the channel, and the pressure of the side plate is all that holds that to the reel. So isn't that kind of a fun thing, right? Just like that. Turn it in, put it in there, set it into that little cavity, nest the crosswind block over that offset. Go ahead and I guess we can put a little bit of grease onto this side plate channel here where that is going to ride. That's probably why we had a little bit of grease in the case when I took it off. Let's go ahead and put that back on, and then all I think we have to do is just push this right back on. You know, it couldn't be any easier than that, could it? All right, there's a ridge here that this is going to ride behind, so start on one side, get it behind the ridge, and then I think there's going to be a little bit of a kind of a pull and a push effect here to get it around the ridge, and then kind of snap it in. tell you what, if you were into manufacturing these things, it couldn't be any easier, right? What kind of machine tools do you even need? You really don't. Just having a little tensioning issue here. Pull that down a little bit. There you go. Clips in. That's that. Let's see if our shaft and everything. Look at that. Nice. All right. This is nothing. It's a piece of aluminum. It looks like it's all machined together. Right on. We had a big washer. Now this is, I should have told you this earlier. If you're working on one of these, take the pictures out unless you really want to trust your memory. I've been taking pictures with my video in case I screwed it up. But there's obviously two sides to this. This is a bell washer. It's got an indentation on one side and a raised side on the other. The raised side points up. It also does have a little bit of an inset there. You'll see that circle there is not totally round. It does have two flat sides to correspond with the flat sides there. This is the little clicker, the back off clicker. So they got a lot done in a little piece here. And then we just have this pretty beat up. It's losing its paint is what it's doing. The piece itself is sound, but the paint is kind of shot there. Let's go ahead and put that together. And I guess if I want to take this fishing, I'm going to put a drop of oil in both sides of the case because they're just pivot points here. There's no mechanics going on here. We saw when we took that off. Just work it up a little bit. Let it get inside there to smooth the journey. Alright, I'm going to just, we'll do it one time for fun just to make sure it whacks. There you go. It does what it's supposed to do, right? Trips. Let's put our clicker back on. There's our anti-reverse clickers in fine fashion. And that's it. So we have a Trimline Trim-Spin made before 1963, made in the United States, wins my award for simplicity and design. I don't know, I didn't finish counting them, but it's got to be less than 10 parts. I can see how you can manufacture this on 141st Street in New York City. Didn't take much, did it? A couple of boxes of parts. I have no idea where they were milled or machined or how they were made. Anybody knows more on that story, please let me know. I did check the Orca site and didn't even get New York City out of it. I just got that it was a trademarked name of the Trimline company, but Trimline Tackle Company. But outside of that, I know very little about this reel. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did, please like it. If you want to see more, please subscribe. If you have a question about this reel, if you have any additional information about this reel, or if you just have a question in general about any fishing reel, maybe you're working on one and you're stuck on the reassembly, or you can't diagnose a problem even though you've had the reel apart, leave that in the comment section as well. I'll try and get you an answer to it. And finally, I do repair reels by mail, so if you have a reel that needs service or repair and you're interested in that service, well, just shoot me a note on the email on my business card that follows. So this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Please stay safe, stay well. If you're a first responder, thank you so much, and please stay watching. Have a great day.